grab your pre-workout and turn up that volume. It is time for a new episode of the Powerlifter's Den with your host, Cam Smith. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Powerlifter's Den. I'm your host, Cam Smith, and today I wanted to bring on somebody that kind of been following the fitness industry for a long time. Thought I'd reach out to him. Terron, why don't you introduce yourself?
What's good, everybody? My name is Terron Beckham. I go by FB Aftermath. I'm just a black guy, apparently. I'm just, here to, talk about whatever's going on. And yeah, man.
Yeah, so I kind of want to start off by I guess one of my first questions for you is I saw that you competed in your first powerlifting meet of May this year. I guess one of my first questions is kind of you've been training heavy for a long time. You obviously have a very good strength background with football and everything. Kind of what was the, I guess, maybe hesitance or like what kind of took you so long to finally get on the platform?
Man, honestly, I don't know. You know what? I do know. It's because I just like going to the gym, doing whatever I want, whenever I want. I still train, athletically because, of course I was doing football and try to get into football for the longest. And then I went to rugby. And I couldn't dedicate myself to to powerlifting, basically, like to be on that program. And it's very like crucial that you get your rest days, because every time I ask, the Jamal Brown or SSJ Bob, those guys, like how many times you train a week, is like, yo, I got 4 days all out, and then the rest of the week is like rest days, like literally like rest days. You can't do nothing.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. I can't. And it was it's something that I honestly, I did for myself. The first meet I did for myself, but I did for everybody that's been watching me for a long time, because I've known, a lot of people have wanted to see me compete. And it was more, I can honestly say it was more so for them than for myself. But I know that everybody would want me to really dedicate myself and put my all into that. And that's just something, I can't do, and I just think it would be like unfair, for people who continually, dedicate their lives to powerlifting. It's just not in my soul at this time in my life to, just give my all to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so awesome that you finally got out there. I mean, I think that's, if I saw this correct, you hit the state record on bench, which is it's kind of crazy just getting into your first meet and just smoking a record like that. I mean, a 500-pound bench press at 242 is still very rare these days. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, it's a running joke is that, I've been benching 500 for the last few years now. And it's just like, all right, if I can't do this in a meet, then it's just like, it's all jokes, you know what I'm saying? So, cause we were actually hesitant, when I stepped on the platform and I hit 485, and I was talking to Jamal, not Jamal Browner, Jamal, I forgot his last name, dang it. But he was like the guy that kind of like tells
handler,
people to go handler. He was my
yeah,
handler, and he was like, 500, like, you want to go for it? I was like, with a pause, you know, and it was just kind of like a like, because he told me I'm already first place when it comes to bench at that meet, so he was like, hey, look, either way, it's just kind of like whatever, you're still good. So we just went for it, and it moved pretty good. I was super excited about that. I felt like I could have maybe even pushed to 510. Actually, nah. 501 at that time was good. But yeah.
yeah. With the pause, was that something that is that like kind of new? Like I guess leading up to the meet, kind of what was your prep looking like for it, or did you kind of just hop in?
So I mean, honestly, the only thing that changed with my training was just commands. For like 6 to 8 weeks, I think it was just making sure I get the pause in, holding it longer than I need to, and especially with bench and with deadlift. Squat was fine because I'm an ATG squatter, so that was never an issue. It was just like the deadlift, which I'm super disappointed with my deadlift for that meet, because I think I only did like 733 or 43, something like that. And you know, at that peak with a deadlift bar, I'm like 485, I mean 785 deadlift, but there it was just like holding that straight bar. I actually tore my bicep a bit
Oh
on
shit.
my last lift. Yeah, I was literally like holding, waiting for him to tell me to drop it while it had already torn a bit, and I'm just like, please, just say like, just drop that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, um, but as far as like training and stuff, nothing really changed. I just was more focused on getting my commands down. You know.
Yeah, and I mean, for someone who's never done like a meet before too, you don't really realize just like how much like each lift takes out of you until you start going into the next one. And I think that's a huge thing too, because like especially at that level, that strength level, like when you just get fatigued so much faster, and
Mm.
trying to put it together all in one day is just a whole different ball game.
Well, I'm not trying to brag, but what made it worse is yo, I messed up on my water when I was doing my water to deplete, whatever.
Yeah,
Uh I ended up being 250, I mean 250 literally like the 24 hours before the meet. And I ended up I was just 2 gallons of distilled water. They said that's what my girl was looking at a TikTok, and she was watching how like wrestlers make weight.
yeah,
And she was like, yo, 2 gallons of distilled water. And we was on it. Woke up in the morning, hopped in a sauna, ended up dropping like 12 pounds. So I was like 238 when I got there. And that was crazy. Yo. I thought I would never have to do something like that, you know, because I competed in like physique back in 2014.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I thought I would never think I would have to do this again.
Yeah, so I guess kind of talking about that too. Now that you've done both some bodybuilding and some powerlifting, kind of what are some of your takeaways from both of them that you both enjoyed or didn't like?
I mean, you know, consistency definitely, you know, reaps benefits. You know, when you're consistent and you have it's easy to get things done when you have a goal. When you're like, all right, for these next few weeks, you know, I have this going on. This is, you know, you're better prepared for it when you just can think just straightforward. So I think that's something that I took away from, you know, the bodybuilding and the powerlifting. If I was to choose, like one or the other, I would definitely go the powerlifting route because the bodybuilding route is just not, you know, I can still kind of eat whatever, you know, doing the powerlifting route,
Yep.
and the bodybuilding route is just not, it's just not healthy, man.
Yeah.
Like me and my girl, we talk about like, cause she competed too. We talk about how like our bodies have not been the same since like our first like bodybuilding style competition. And yeah, bro, it's yeah.
Yeah, it's such a different mindset too. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but like when you went to your bodybuilding competition versus the powerlifting competition, just the difference in environment. The powerlifting environment is usually very friendly, very welcoming. The bodybuilding can kind of be because it's more competitive in a different aspect. Like powerlifting,
Mhm.
obviously, you're still competing, but at the end of the day, you want to see people succeed in their lifts and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, let's be real. Like bodybuilding is like you go around backstage, you see, and you're like, you're thinking to yourself, like, I look better than you. You know, that's literally it.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And it's cool with with powerlifting, especially, man. The smaller guys are so strong. You
yeah.
know, pound for pound, it's just like, geez, you know, I see these guys and I look at you, and if you put office clothes in you, I wouldn't think you lifted much. And then all of a sudden they come on this platform, and I'm just like, man, it's super impressive.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy nowadays. Like some of the low body weights, like you see 150 pound kids benching 405, and you're like, how is that? You would never guess that of a person.
Never, yo. So it's definitely more exciting, you know, for me. You know, at least, you know, somebody moving some heavy weights, some of the intensity, getting active. And it's like I said, it's when you're in it, it's super rewarding. You get to see all your hard work and determination put out there on the platform, and what you've accomplished. So
Yeah, and for me and for a lot of especially like a lot of retired college or high school football athletes, that's like something that a lot of the route that people take. I mean, a lot of the people that I go to competitions with have all played football, so I guess we can start talking about a little bit about your football career, kind of how that went. I'm not sure if I read this right, but was it that you played high school football, didn't play in college, and then tried to go to the NFL from there?
yeah, so played high school ball, was having a lot of issues with college. I went to because my high school coach, first off, I was having issues getting my film so I could send my film out to colleges early enough. And that was one issue. The second issue was he just kept pushing because I was talking to well, not talking to, but the teams that I knew that were interested. But the main one was Maryland. And my coach was like, "Hey, you're better off going to a JUCO first. Work on the GPA, go to a JUCO, and then you could talk about going to a college or whatever." And meanwhile, I saw other players, and I know their GPA was just the same or worse. And because my GPA wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was like an average, whatever. But I was totally confused. So I ended up trying to do my own thing. I didn't really have any guidance with college football or D1, D2, or D3. I just knew the main coach that wanted me, like he was calling my peoples and everything at Stevenson University, Ed Hoddle, from Stevenson University, and he brought me out to the school, the college, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." Blah blah blah. So I just ended up going there, and at the time, my ex girlfriend, she got a scholarship to the school as well. So I just ended up, might as well go here, and that's where kind of everything fell down because they just had got a football team, so I didn't even get to play my first semester there. Um, and then I was having a lot of financial aid issues, so I couldn't even stay like in a dorm. I was like bouncing from other people's dorms the whole semester. So with those problems, I ended up dropping out, going back to Texas. I was in Maryland at the time. Moved back to Texas with my family. Tried to get back into college, so I went to a JUCO, Navarro. Tried to play ball there, and everything was cool until I got a message from Stevenson about I owed the school and that if I don't pay by the end of the semester I was already doing in Navarro, that I can't join school again. So I pretty much had to drop out of football, like work, and try to pay back the amount that I owed. And it was one thing after the next. So I ended up dropping out of Navarro, went to Tyler Junior College. Once again, same thing. Got on the team. Then we had a tryout, and was having a great tryout, like great, until we got to the 40-yard dash. Ran my 40. I didn't know the time, but it was good enough to get the other coaches to tell the head coach to come watch me run this next 40.
Yeah.
And I run the 40 as soon as right before I pass the line, I tear my hamstring.
Oh shit.
And I'm just there on the ground. I just remember being there on the ground looking up. The head coach just like waved me off. He literally did this and like just turned around and like it was like a movie scene. It was like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And dude, I kid you not, I was bawling back to my like freaking dorm room, like just so disappointed, didn't know what to do with my life. And yeah. And next thing you know, I leave, move to New York. Um and ended up going to a the Olympia. The Olympia, they had this booth. Inner Armour had this booth. The supplement brand had this booth with a vertical jump test. And I'm just like, oh, for shits and giggles, I just, do the vertical jump test. I ended up jumping like a 42-inch vert. And the people there were like, hey, what are you doing? Like, you play football? And I'm like, nah, bro. I've been in New York, been a fitness trainer for
Yeah.
like the last 2 years. I haven't done anything. I tried, but it just didn't work out. And they told me that they do this thing program like every year where they bring athletes in and they train them for NFL like combine for pro days.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got that opportunity to train for the NFL. And yeah, so
So I guess from there on, obviously, like, it's not something that continued to go on, I guess. But I guess from there on, like, what was kind of the mindset, or maybe what was like some of the future goals that you set from that point?
well during everything, like during the combine prep or after.
After.
After, man, dude, it was, I mean, after the combine and doing the Jets thing, and I even trained with the Colts and stuff, and just not hearing back from anybody or like not getting anything, like nobody telling me any reasons. Um, because on the news, all the coaches were saying, "Oh, he looks like a great athlete. He looks like he knows what he's doing," and spreading all this good stuff about me, and then not hearing back was just like it was devastating. Like I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't know, I bet a lot on that,
Yeah.
because how I saw it was before I went to that to the Olympia to do the vertical jump, I was okay with my life.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was being a trainer, I was coming up in the fitness industry. I was good. Football was pretty much behind me at that point. And then this opportunity comes where like, oh shit, like I actually have a chance, to make this happen.
Yeah.
And it just kind of took like mentally just took over me, for years because I was so close to, I mean, let's be real. Like football is like a life changing, what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Playing for the NFL is
Yeah.
very life changing, and I was so close to it, and to not even honestly, if one of the coaches would have told me like, bro, you just suck,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you suck. You're not, then I would have been like, okay, I understand, and let it die.
Hmm.
But nobody ever told me that. I always had good stats. Just nobody told me anything, and it was just it was mentally, just super challenging. It was went through like a depression about it, and I've had to continually find something to take over that one because I love competing. I love being challenged. I love sports, like doing sports,
Yeah.
and so that's why, I was just always looking for the next thing, and that's why I went into I got the opportunity to go into rugby, So yeah.
So with the experience in rugby, kind of maybe tell us about more of maybe where you played, and kind of I guess kind of the difference between that and football. I mean, obviously they're different sports, but they have some similarities. So
Yeah, so some a viewer actually that watches me, Malik Bryant, he he said he's been watching on YouTube for a while. He actually told the coach for the team that he was playing about me. Colorado Raptors is the rugby team, and I think they're called like the American Eagles or something now, or Colorado Eagles, something like that. But they were developing a team of professional athletes or former professional athletes, or like new just graduated college athletes, and turning pretty much all those football players into rugby players. So
yeah.
we were a team basically full of like new players trying to learn the game of rugby. And it was cool, man. It was a super dope experience. Training is tough, a lot of running, a lot of hitting, no pads.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? No pads. But I enjoyed it. It was a good feeling to be back on the field, just to have the ball in my hands to run with it to hit people. I always enjoy just that physical contact in sports, and to be able to be like, yeah, I'm stronger than you,
Yeah.
but rugby, man, rugby. I wish I would have probably continued if I picked it up earlier,
Yeah.
you know. And if I was in my earlier 20s, it would have been something I would have tried to continue with. But I'm 31 now, and it's just like how I got to the point to where does this make sense long term, basically?
Yeah.
You know, like I mean, it's rugby. Nobody in America really knows much about rugby. The pay wasn't, outstanding,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it kept some bills together, but it wasn't like, and it was super time consuming and the pay wasn't worth it for me. And like I said, it was just long term. I didn't see myself getting somewhere legendary,
Yeah.
So it's like the legendary people are the guys who've been playing forever, who's already on the um international team and things like that. And once I got hurt, I had my chance to play for the international team. In my first practice with them, I ended up tearing my AC joint. So
Yeah.
it's just like these moments, like the most crucial moments in my life. I get like this stupid injury that just like I've never, I don't know. But I mean, once again, the experience was worth it. I'm glad I did it, and I honestly think it like kind of like prepared me for just for the next step in my life, which is wrestling and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it kind of shows your persistence through all the sports. I mean, dealing with injuries is tough. Like having those ups and downs is obviously can be difficult to deal with. I guess kind of more into just the overall growth of your career. Kind of what's been some of the maybe some of the influences or some of the major things that have like really helped you build your brand.
Um, Major influences. I don't really know, man. I just how do I say this? Like Repeat that question one more time.
So over the course of your growth, what are some of the major influences or some of the things you've learned along the way that have like helped you build your brand?
I mean, so some of the things along the way that have helped me build is just, I think, just like the mentality, just keep going. Just finding the next thing. And I think like, I kind of want to hit this. People think that I'm just trying to jump from one professional thing to the next, and like I'm not consistent. With what I do. I'm very consistent with the road I'm on. It's just finding out which one I believe. Which, do I take this left? Do I take this right? Do I go straight? Like which avenue I need to be on. That's why I've tried the football. I tried the rugby. I know I'm supposed to do something, with sports in the sports entertainment industry, period. And I know that's what I'm meant for. And I've just had to continually believe in myself to know, where I'm trying to go. And once again, people have just think that I'm just trying to find some like a how do I say this? Like I remember this. I remember this one comment clearly. Like bro doesn't know where he belongs or something, and he's just trying to like be a professional or something like real quick. And it's not that. It's just like I've had things keeping me from continuing on in the past that have knocked me out of a certain lane.
Yeah,
And but I've always had a straightforward mind. Train hard. Put my faith in God and find out where I'm supposed to be. And honestly, like right now, right in this moment, right now, I feel like this is where I belong. As far as with the wrestling stuff, this is kind of like it already deals with my brand. I look at it in a big picture, and everything I've done for the past years, the sports, the YouTube, learning how to talk on camera, being myself, even going the physical things I've already been through. I've been through rugby, bro. You know what I'm saying? So coming from rugby going into like wrestling is like it just makes the most sense to me because I already know physical contact, notepads and things and such. And I just felt like my path has prepared me for this end game. You know, so that's just kind of how I feel.
yeah. So I guess more into the wrestling, kind of what got you into deciding that. Maybe where's the road ahead for that as well?
Yeah, so with wrestling in 2016, I believe was my first like WWE tryout. NXT was great. It was a great experience, but the problem with that was it was in the middle of me still trying to go to the NFL.
Yeah,
So, I had an agent at the time and they sent me a massive contract. I'm like, it's an encyclopedia. And it was intimidating, and I have wrestler friends and I asked them certain things. And this was like my YouTube was still blowing up. Like I was doing good on social media. I had sponsorships and a lot of that at the time. Um, I would have had to like quit. And because everything once you sign with WWE, they don't care about nothing else outside of WWE. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I financially couldn't sign that contract back then because I would have had to drop. I was with Reebok at the time, my old sponsor Alpha, like all the clothing, shoe brands, I would have to drop, and that would have put me in a negative as far as like making money from what the WWE was offering me.
yeah,
So it was like I couldn't afford to continue on at that time, despite how much I enjoyed training, being there. Um, so that's kind of how it started. The spark started, and here I am years later. I moved to Houston. I started thinking about wrestling. I've always thought about it, but now I like really heavily think about it. And I randomly come across um, Booker T's wrestling school out here in Houston. Didn't Before I moved out here, I didn't know he had a school out here. I was just looking up wrestling schools.
yeah,
And at that when I found that out, I was like, yo, like this is like things are starting to align. I'm thinking like I was supposed to be here, supposed to be out here. I was supposed to meet, I mean, me two-time Hall of Famer legend, Booker T. I was
yeah,
like, I've been watching this guy, with my grandfather for freaking years, and it was just like I have this opportunity to be connected with the WWE, with wrestling, and training under this legend, and just really going all out, for this opportunity because once again, out of everything I've done, football, rugby, this has made the most sense to me, and this has made like me like thinking about it just like makes me like emotional
Yeah.
because it's like it's one of those things to where like I feel like I'm reaching, my purpose, every time, I'm in the ring, every time that goes by, it just feels right,
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's awesome. I mean it's cool. It's like kind of like a combination of like performance and sports at the same time. It's a good like entertainment and get to show your athleticism still and all that. So I guess more into the training sides of things. Obviously there's you have to learn like the I guess like choreograph in a way, but as well as still training in the gym and things. How is
What
that
you talking
kind
about choreograph? Wrestling's real, bro.
of
It's all real.
yeah, yeah. But like the training in terms of like the gym, how is that kind of like switched up, or I guess has
So,
it stayed the
um,
same?
I still train the same. I've always trained like an athlete. I still train the same. Honestly, the only thing that's changed is my training at the facility, in the arena. I do put emphasis on more old man work, on all like the mobility stuff. Just trying to make sure I'm flexible, mobile, because that ring will beat you up.
Yeah,
Like there's the soreness that I get is not I've never experienced in my life, but it's strange. I love it. I love the feeling, because it lets me know that I'm in there. I'm not scared to get hurt. I'm not scared to get thrown down or jump out the ring. And I think that's one thing people need to understand. Like when you're scared to get hurt, you're going to get hurt bad. Probably just you got to understand you're going to get hurt. Understand that, and you can do whatever you want. Um, but training is very endurance based. Can you carry a 3 minute match? Can you carry a 5, 8 minute up to an hour? And it's super. It's more mentally a struggle than physically because physically I'm all there. I can do pretty much any and everything, but mentally it's like, all right, I got to remember just this move, this does this, how do I reverse out of that,
yep,
and it's a lot to remember, and I have to continually just um do it after time after time after time, and even sometimes I do it like 20 times and I still forget the next day, like what like what were we doing yesterday, like how do we do that again, but I mean the best thing is just we have these practice matches and you just kind of pick up things on the fly and learn because you get nervous. I get nervous a little bit before these matches because it's like you don't want to mess up,
yeah,
because especially if it's like live TV, you don't want to mess up on live TV, so I hate making myself look stupid,
hmm
and I'm very anal about making sure everything, like, I look like I do this for years, and I have my debut coming up, so I'm just trying to make sure that when it's time to go, like everybody's like saying like, "Yo, who's the new guy?" So
yeah, yeah. So I was actually gonna ask you about that. I saw on one of your posts about the debut. It said like the aftermath, but you said that's not the official name. Is there one in the works coming out soon or?
man, I don't know, man. I have like 5 different names right now that I'm like going through, and whether to keep my name. I've had, of course, the word aftermath. Everybody knows me by. I mean, people call me that already. They're like, "Yo, aftermath." They don't even say the FB. They think FB is like Facebook. I'm like, I'm like, what? Because people don't know, but like, I have 2 last names, Fondrick Beckham. So that's what. So FB aftermath. But people actually like the aftermath. Like, oh, the aftermath. Terron the aftermath Beckham. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think it kind of works. So I mean, at least if you can't come up with something, you always got a good one to fall back on. So, but so what do you tell us about the debut? When is that? Where is that?
Debut January 13th, Reality of Wrestling, Texas City. So Booker T has his own, wrestling federation, which is ROW, Reality of Wrestling, that he's had for years, and they do live tapings on YouTube, and then of course the live show is at the arena I train at as well. Because we have like an arena in the front and then the training grounds in the back. So it's a pretty dope setup. Probably one of the only setups in the wrestling community, like in America at least, that is like that. just state of the art equipment, cameras, like, everything pretty much, WWE or AEW, would have in their facilities, of course, on a bigger scale, but still, it's a good way to start out, get your training, get promos done as well. And yeah.
Yeah, so about wrestling, there when I was in college, so I just graduated with my master's this year, but
Okay.
like
Well,
the
congrats
past,
on that.
thank you, and the past couple of years, we've on Thursday nights at a local bar, they had one of those like semi-pro wrestling teams, and it was awesome to see, and it was kind of crazy too because you don't realize like the rings are actually made out of like tough shit, like the frame's metal, it's covered in plywood and just like some rugs, but
Yep.
I mean, it's fun to watch live. It's definitely entertaining, and it's kind of funny the amount of like hype that just like the local crowd would get around it and stuff. You just go up on like it was like a dive bar too. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, that's the thing about wrestling, man. They're very community oriented, because I mean, football. Or how often you gonna see a football player outside of the arena? You know what I'm saying? So it's very community heavy. Wrestlers do a lot of community work too, and that's what I like about it. Because I keep telling myself like, yo, I want to get more involved in, um, possibly going to like boys and girls clubs, and um, maybe going out, help the community or whatever. Just like be more involved, give back to the world, do things like that. And that's what I like about the higher path with like WWE, because they do a lot of that, and they, perform for the military, things like that. Like it's nice, fun stuff that you can do for the community.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when you think of like John Cena, like obviously he did WWE, but he was huge on the Make a Wish. Like it's a very giving back community. It's very good for entertainment. I mean, it's over the years, it's always fun to watch too. And I mean, kids from 30 years ago grew up with it. Kids are growing up with it now, so it's kind of just has like a everlasting impact.
Yeah. Right.
So regarding your training, you train at Alpha Land, right?
Yeah. Alpha Land every single day.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of go out there at some point, and I mean, it looks like a great facility, and but I've seen some like some posts about like it's just like tripod city there. So I guess kind of maybe talk about like your experience with training there.
So Alpha Land's cool, man. Yeah, there's tripods. Yeah, we got TikTok guy. This guy comes in, bro. I kid you not, bro. This guy comes in almost every time. I've never seen him not be on TikTok live while he's in Alpha Land. And I was like, yo, can we get like start a petition to like have him banned? But it's not that bad. Yeah, there's tripods, here and there, but it's nothing crazy. I'm thankful for it because I grew up in the time where you weren't even allowed to film in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to like hide it. I remember living in New York, me and Goku Flex. He helped me start YouTube. We were out there in New York, and we got kicked out the gym for filming. I got kicked out 3 times. I don't know why they gave me 3 times, but yeah. Um, and it used to be really hard to find gyms to film at back then. So now that they allow it a lot more nowadays, it's just like, I can't complain about it. I can still get my work done. Sometimes it does get a little annoying, but because I'm the type of person when I'm film, I'm more worried about being in other people's space and out the way. And not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
Some people just don't care. They'll put their camera 20 feet away, and then you walk past it and you're like, bro, I'm filming. It's like, if that joint is more than 6 feet away, I'm walking through,
Yeah.
you know. So, but like Alpha Land is cool, man. Spacious, there's a lot of space, 3 gyms, um, basketball courts, soccer fields. Like, there's a lot you can do there.
Yeah. So who are some of the people there too that maybe you're like in a friend circle with, or like do you ever train with anybody or anything like that?
So me and Christian Guzman, we play ball. We trained 2 times, I think, and then usually when he's out shooting hoops, I'll shoot with him. Um, and Russ is out here. Jamal Browner, Weeze. Who else have I trained with? I don't really know. I don't really, to be real, I don't, because I train by myself majority of the time. Like I haven't, other than those, I haven't really trained with anybody. You know, I just did a video with Baker, but he's new on social media, so I don't really know if anybody knows about him. But yeah, I don't really train with anybody. I mean, a lot of people come through, Jesse James, Bradley, like influencers fly in and they'll train at Alpha Land and stuff. But as far as like me, kind of, nah. I'm a boring person, dude. I go to the gym, like I do my own thing. I film whatever I need to. I go home. I'm on Overwatch all day, playing the game, and that's my day. Doing some video editing, and me and Babe, we're home buddies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for a routine too. I'm kind of like I want to keep all my what's it, eggs in line or whatever that fucking saying is. But yeah, I mean, it's really cool to just see the growth of just the fitness world. I mean, obviously the boom of social media has its ups and downs, but I think
Hmm.
overall the impact is very solid. I mean, it's opening up a lot of opportunities and like areas to new gyms, new people in the world, like new knowledge. I mean,
Hmm.
there's so much knowledge that it's like too much, and there's obviously controversies and stuff like that. But
That is very true. Like there are things that with new knowledge, I've even had to talk about in some of my videos where things I used to teach are done differently now. You know, and I've talked about that. It kind of goes with this is what we did in the time, and now the times have changed, and it's not like it was like wrong, but it could be better.
yeah,
So it's just it's just the key word is optimal, the
yeah,
optimal way. You know what I'm saying? So but that's definitely a huge thing, and social media is just so different now. It's a lot of people are on it, a lot of people are on it since they're like 10, 12. And the thing is people there's just so many people like giving the same information now that it's just hard to stand out. That's why I even had to take a break from like YouTube. Like I don't even post on my main channel anymore. I had to start a whole new channel because I had to change. I saw like, all right, this is how fitness is going, and long term, I was like, this is going to be difficult, to stay consistent with long term because everybody's doing this now. And now I kind of share more of my daily life and more of my personality and stuff with my new channel. But yeah, I mean, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy everything you can learn from social media now. And like dude, TikTok will tell you anything. You got a question, you look it up on TikTok, and boom, you know what I'm saying? So and everybody's a professional now too. But
yeah, yeah.
whatever.
I know everyone. Like, I mean, especially so I'm 23, so like a lot of the people around my age are pretty easily influenced, or they think they know everything, and kind of like in the powerlifting world right now, a lot of my friends are like. We always talk about like the guys at the bottom of the pack or the middle of the pack are the ones chirping the loudest, and um, I think with the social media too comes like a level of arrogance from some people. So I mean, someone like you, who's not and they're just true to themselves. It's kind of refreshing. I mean,
Appreciate that.
you see some people that you just watch them and you're like, what are you doing? You're influencing these young kids trying to do these things that are going to get them hurt, burnt out, or just teach wrong information.
Yeah, yeah, it's like I said, it's a new era. It's different. After COVID, it's just been very different, and I'm still trying to get accustomed to how things go and how things work. It seems like you have to be almost like an extreme of what you're doing. I think people gravitate towards an extreme. You got to be the leanest, you got to be the strongest, you got to be PhD. You know what I'm saying? You got to be the smartest, and you have to have these pretty much just like an outrageous difference from just normal people, that's what's going to basically give you the upper hand. And and that's what I'm saying when it comes to like powerlifting or bodybuilding, because I don't ever see myself trying to be it pretty much pisses people off that I don't see myself trying to be like the strongest guy in the powerlifting, or going to bodybuilding. Terron, you got the genetics, I don't care to be big, right? I don't care to be freaking leaned out big. Like I like how I am now. I like my life. I could be a little bit more leaner, but um, and it's just like people just like I said, people just want these extremes from everybody to go all out. You
Yeah.
know, you gotta go all out. And yeah, bro, I'll go all out with wrestling. But I ain't gonna go all out with
Yeah.
with powerlifting or bodybuilding. Respect to the people that do. Um, but yeah, I just can't personally.
Yeah, and I mean for powerlifting, bodybuilding, just fitness in general, like yeah, it's to stay healthy, but for most like powerlifting, bodybuilding specifically, like it's a hobby. Like it shouldn't be something that completely takes over your life unless you're someone like Jay Cutler who's making millions of dollars a year off of it and has brand sponsors and things like that. So
Right. And personally, if you're not reaching for that, I mean, I'm just saying, because it's like I like to ask people, what do you do? What do you do? Like you do powerlifting, yeah?
yeah,
Like what are the reasons you do powerlifting for?
just, I want to be strong as fuck.
You want to be strong about so you're continually want to get stronger. You want to be are you looking to be like the top of your class?
At some point, yeah. I mean, I'm trying, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, so you have your goal, you have, you already know to yourself that you want to be top of your class, you're working towards that. And it's like I talk to a lot of people that do it. They're like, I'm just doing it for, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. I'll see. I'm doing it for myself. Like, okay, cool. But like, how long have you been doing it for yourself? Like 5 years. I'm like, damn. What I'm saying? Like, are you trying to go somewhere with that? Are you like what's the end game? And a lot of people just do things because, oh, I'm a powerlifter. There's a there's a platform for powerlifters on social media, so I'm just gonna do it because of social media. Like nah, yeah, you gotta, the people that do the best are the ones that really love what they're doing and go for it. And social media is just a secondhand part of all that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, especially in the world of powerlifting, like powerlifting used to be only as an equipped sport. I mean, it was no one really knew about it. They're like, oh, they just do squat, bench, deadlift. Like, what is that? But now it's very big on social media. So it people just like, oh, I want to do a powerlifting competition, but they have no drive to actually like compete. They just want to get their videos to post on Instagram.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, mind you, hold on. Let me go back real quick because I know I did the video, but I actually wanted to do the meet. Okay, I actually wanted to do the meet. You know what I'm saying? Even though I posted the video, stuff. It was a long time coming. So I'm just letting you guys know.
Hey, I mean, you set a bench record right off of the rip. So I mean, that even if you didn't want to do the meet, that still that still counts.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
So I guess a little bit more into your lifts before we kind of wrap things up here. So you hit the 644 squat, 501 bench, and 735 something like that deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
I guess out of the three lifts, what were you most nervous for or like most excited for?
Oh, I was most nervous for deadlift, bro. I hate that stiff bar so much,
Oh
bro.
yeah,
That stiff bar can kick rocks, bro.
yeah,
And that's like another reason. Like I've over the years, all my big deadlift videos on YouTube, it's always been on. I've always used a Texas deadlift bar,
yeah,
always. And to go from that, like, it's so mentally just like, ugh, it just brings me down. Like that first initial pull,
yeah.
and it's not moving,
Yep.
for a minute. It's like a little like, wait, like, am I not this strong right now? And then it starts to kind of slowly come up. It's like, dang, because like that deadlift bar, you whip that joint, and then you're like, okay. That's kind of like a little motivational thing because you pull it up a little bit. It's like, oh, all right, and then you really pull it. It's like, yeah, this is moving. But no, that stiff bar is humbling to the core, you know.
Yeah,
And I just don't. I I want to do another meet, you know, but I don't know if what was it, USAPL,
yeah.
USAPL is what I
Yeah.
did. I would have to go find the one that uses the Texas deadlift bar because I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah,
nah.
so USAPL they all only use a stiff bar. It's most pretty much honestly that's like the only federation left that uses a stiff bar. Every other federation, all the federations I've competed in use the Texas deadlift bar. One of them uses a kabuki bar, which that one's even more whippy. But
So I tried that one, but it
yeah,
was too much for me. Yeah,
it,
I
it
think.
it's not great
Go
for
ahead.
explosive if you're very explosive because the whip will just literally throw you to the ground after.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I think I was only at like 675. Um, and Nabil. I think I tried his bar, and he had the kabuki bar, and pulled that joint, and I'm just like, I'm just like, nah, bro, this joint's gonna crack my back. Like, nah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wish you the best in the whole wrestling career. I'm looking forward to kind of keep up with that, and hopefully, yeah, I hope you can get back on the platform at some point. That'd be cool to see again. I,
Appreciate it.
I guess so. To wrap things up, I like to always ask finish the episode. I'm gonna change up a little bit. So, if you could give a new person kind of dipping their toes into the fitness world, or maybe pursuing a sport, a word of advice, what would that be?
My word of advice would to be literally that should all be your only focus. Like no outside distractions. I've had problems with outside distractions in my life and trying to get to where I want to go. And all I say is this is your if you're betting on your future with this, then you need to go balls out for it, from day one, not tomorrow, literally right now, as you're hearing this, what I'm saying? Because like the world is only going to get tougher as far as competition, and the sooner you start, the better it is, because there's always something in your life you're always like, damn, I should have started that sooner,
Yeah.
or damn, I could have did this, beforehand. And you need to find out all of those now to do it now and not have those type of regrets and be left behind, so it's just about not being left behind and to separate yourself from everybody else. I'll say this one thing: there's somebody at the gym, and I look at his content. This is mainly for the fitness like influencer people. I look at his content, and I literally told him like, bro, I'll follow you and all. We're cool. But your content sucks. What you do sucks because it's all about him. It's a photo of him. Everything's about him. There's nothing on there that when you're a fitness and you're trying to be a fitness influencer, you yeah, it's about yourself, but you work for the people, right? Because the people you're trying to get their support, you're trying to give them a reason. And when it's just about you, you're not really giving them a reason. Like nobody really knows you. You know what I'm saying? You're not like a celebrity football player or anything. So you have to build reason with people. And, you know, think about these things. Think about every time you make something like who would like this? Um, do I like this? Because there's times I've made something and I'm like, I don't know, I wouldn't watch this. You know what I'm saying? And you got to really be truthful with your niche and what you're trying to be a part of, and then you just fucking ball out with it.
Oh yeah. Awesome. I think that's some great advice. I want to thank you for taking the time to come on today. It was a pleasure.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Awesome.